Just like straight fucking with you. Kendrick, goddamn, put a y'all, you're a superstar. You don't ran up a few hundred M, but you ain't put nobody on though. You see what I'm saying? You ain't even put Keem on. Cause the shit you and him doing, this shit ain't really doing that. Put somebody on. It's okay to run you a few hundred M's up, but who you help though? You ain't really help nobody. It's just you did all that shit for nothing, nigga. You ain't help nobody. Nigga ain't really gaining no fans off of you. Keem ain't big, Keem love hell, man. Can't sell no ticket. Watch out. Like, man, watch out. I truly believe we'll have your though trending, like, cause they gonna be like people in the real world with you. Not the goddamn, not the rap world. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be real players and cool lit and players and shit like that. You don't, them type of people like you. You gonna get like the real streets and the real people fucking with you. You gonna get the East Coast fucking East Coast ain't with you, brother. You really trying to keep all the blessings to yourself. You really trying to keep everything to yourself. You really sit in the studio and work on the album and don't put nobody on the album. Like, God damn, bro, you ain't gonna fuck with nobody. You ain't gonna bless nobody. Bullshit ass King.
It definitely is. It definitely is. And from Compton, I could have easily came out and said, I did this, I did that. I did a whole bunch of just giving out fact where I'm from.
So Young Thug, or should I say Rat Thug, is back at it again, running his mouth on those infamous Cobb County jail calls, stirring up drama that the streets and the internet can't stop talking about. This time, he's not just ranting aimlessly or crying about his situation. No, he's got a bone to pick with none other than Kendrick Lamar, and somehow Baby Keem got thrown into the mix too. Even wilder, Thug is trying to position himself side by side with Drake, like he's teaming up with the biggest superstar in the game to throw shade at the entire TDE camp. It's messy, it's desperate, and it's got everybody asking the same question. Why is Young Thug, a man with his own reputation in shambles, still acting like the world owes him something? If you've been tuned into the online chatter lately, you already know the streets have been buzzing about Thug's every move since his legal troubles took center stage. The whispers about his so-called real connection to the streets, the speculation about how deep his ties go, and the never-ending debates about whether he's really cut from the cloth he claims, those conversations are louder now than ever. And the cherry on top of all that noise? This latest jail call where Thug couldn't help himself but whine about Kendrick Lamar not blessing him with a feature. Instead of reflecting on how he ended up behind bars, he's on the phone sulking, mad at Kendrick for not handing him a verse like it's some kind of participation trophy. The internet was quick to react. Folks were stunned. They couldn't believe the same Young Thug who once flaunted his relationship with Drake, acting like he was already sitting at the top table, was now out here calling out Kendrick Lamar like some entitled fan. One user put it in plain words, "Damn Thug thought you rolled with Drake. Why you crying over a Kendrick feature?" And really, that's the question everyone's asking. How does a man who prides himself on being a pioneer, who built his whole image around being larger than life,
just like straight fucking with you. Kendrick, goddamn, put a y'all, you're a superstar. You don't ran up a few hundred M, but you ain't put nobody on though. You see what I'm saying? You ain't even put Keem on. Cause the shit you and him doing, this shit ain't really doing that. Put somebody on. It's okay to run you a few hundred M's up, but who you help though? You ain't really help nobody. It's just you did all that shit for nothing, nigga. You ain't help nobody. Nigga ain't really gaining no fans off of you. Keem ain't big, Keem love hell, man. Can't sell no ticket. Watch out. Like, man, watch out. I truly believe you do a song on me, Wham, Dirt, Money Bad, Savage. I truly believe we'll have your ass dope, trending, like, cause they're gonna be like people in the real world with you.
Sound this pressed about another artist not picking up his call? Because here's the reality check. Kendrick Lamar and Young Thug are built from two entirely different worlds. Their music, their legacies, their visions, they don't align and they never have. Kendrick has carved out a career where every move, every bar, and every feature is calculated, intentional, and locked into a higher purpose. He's not about hopping on just any track to chase streams or ride trends. He's about building timeless art, projects that speak to generations. Meanwhile, Thug is sitting in a jail cell, frustrated that Kendrick won't play the same game he's trying to play. It's almost laughable. The math ain't mathing and everybody can see it but Thug.
Man, watch out. I truly believe you do a song on me, Wham, Dirt, Money Bad, Savage. I truly believe we'll have your ass though trending, like, but it's like, what the hell is you doing? You probably fuck with me, Wham, Dirt, Savage. You probably be calling us like, hey man, I want y'all young niggas on my. I'm on some players this time around. I'm on some players. Like, come on, man, god damn. I don't know though. These niggas be crazy.
The thing about Kendrick is this: his collaborations have always been rare, and when they happen, they mean something. He's never been the type to dilute his catalog with half-hearted features. He's picky for a reason. He knows the weight of his name, and he knows the world watches every move he makes. His music has become a blueprint for intentional artistry in hip-hop. He doesn't just throw his verse on any track. He doesn't chase the clout. He stays grounded in substance. That's why his legacy is untouchable. That's why he's respected not only by the fans, but by the very peers who sometimes want what they can't get, his cosign. And yet, here's Thug, throwing a tantrum on the jail phones, trying to guilt Kendrick into giving him what he thinks he deserves. But what has Thug really done to earn it? That's the burning question people online keep circling back to. Because let's keep it real. What Kendrick has built is intentional, curated, and sacred. He's not interested in boosting someone's career just because they think they're owed a verse. In the rap game, Kendrick isn't just another player. He's in his own lane entirely. And Thug? Well, he's acting like a man who thinks making noise in the streets should somehow equal a verse from one of the greatest rappers alive.
I truly believe we'll have your ass though trending, like, cause it's gonna be like people in the real world, not the not the rap world. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be real players and cool lit and players like that. Them type of people ain't fuck with you. You gonna get like the real streets and the real people fucking with you. You gonna get the East Coast fucking East Coast ain't fucking with you, bro. You really trying to keep all the blessings to yourself. You really trying to keep everything to yourself. You really sit in the studio and work on the album and don't put nobody on the album. Like, god damn, bro, you ain't gonna fuck with nobody. You ain't gonna bless nobody. Bullshit ass king, like, but it's like.
But here's where it gets even messier. Thug didn't stop with Kendrick and Keem. No, he decided to sprinkle in the names of other heavy hitters. Lil Durk, 21 Savage, Moneybagg Yo, as if grouping them together somehow makes his point stronger. He's out here fantasizing about how linking up with them would make the world pay attention again, as if proximity to greatness is the same as earning greatness. But all that rambling only made him look weaker. Instead of proving he deserves respect, he came off like someone begging to be let into a room he's never been invited to. And let's not forget, Kendrick isn't blind to all this.
It definitely is. It definitely is. And from Compton, I could have easily came out and said, I did this, I did that. I done a whole bunch of I done just giving off fact where I'm.
He knows the game Thug is trying to play. He knows when someone is chasing clout. And Kendrick's entire career has been about avoiding those traps. He doesn't smut out his catalog. He doesn't let desperation cloud his decisions. He doesn't care about momentary hype. He's about quality, longevity, and meaning. So no, he's not about to throw Thug a life raft just because Thug's crew thinks he deserves one. Kendrick doesn't owe him a thing, and that's the part Thug just can't seem to accept. Meanwhile, the public reaction has been brutal. People have been clowning Thug left and right, questioning why he feels entitled to Kendrick's time. They point out that Kendrick doesn't need to validate anyone. He doesn't need to hand out features like party favors.
Real world, you. Not the rap world. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be real players and cool lit and players like that. But you don't. Some type of people ain't you. You gonna get like the real streets and the real people with you. You gonna get the East Coast for the East Coast ain't with you, bro. You really trying to keep all the blessings to yourself. You really trying to keep everything to yourself. You really sit in the studio and work on the album and don't put nobody on the album. Like, god damn, bro, you ain't gonna nobody. You ain't gonna bless nobody. Bullshit ass king, like, but it's like, what the hell is you doing?
He's already built his empire, and he did it by staying true to himself, not by attaching himself to whoever was buzzing at the moment. The internet consensus is clear. Thug's energy reeks of desperation, not dominance. Now let's really talk about why Kendrick is different. When you look at his discography, it tells a story. From Good Kid, M.A.'d City, to Pimp a Butterfly to Damn. And beyond, everything Kendrick has done has been part of a bigger picture. His features, his albums, his performances, they all connect. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is random. He doesn't show up unless it matters. And when he does, it's unforgettable. That's the kind of discipline and vision that separates him from artists like Thug, who rely on chaos and noise to keep their names in the headlines. So when Thug whines about not getting a feature, it's not just cringe, it's a reminder of the gap between the two. Kendrick is legacy, Thug is headlines, Kendrick is timeless, Thug is temporary, Kendrick is purpose, Thug is noise, and the more Thug complains, the clearer that difference becomes. But let's zoom out for a second. This isn't just about one jail call or one rant. This is about what happens when an artist who once had influence and momentum starts to lose his grip and lashes out at the wrong people. Thug's situation is the perfect storm of entitlement, desperation, and delusion. He's looking around, watching the game move forward without him, and instead of taking accountability or reflecting on his choices, he's pointing fingers at the people who don't owe him a damn thing. The irony is almost poetic. Here's a man who used to thrive off being unpredictable, off being the one everyone else had to figure out, and now he's reduced to begging for attention from the very artists who built their careers by ignoring noise like his. It's sad in a way, but it's also the reality check the game needed. Because for every artist who thinks clout and chaos will carry them forever, Thug's downfall is proof that at some point, the music, the integrity, and the choices matter more than the headlines. And let's not overlook the fact that Kendrick has been in this position before. He's had artists come at him sideways, try to drag him into beefs, or guilt trip him into features. But time and time again, he's proven that he's not here to play those games. He stays above it. He stays focused. And that's why his career looks the way it does today. That's why he can disappear for years and come back like he never left. That's why he doesn't have to chase anyone, because people will always chase him. So at the end of the day, Thug can rant all he wants from that jail phone. He can name drop, he can whine, he can act like the world owes him a verse from Kendrick Lamar. But the truth is, nothing he says changes the facts. Kendrick doesn't owe him a damn thing. Kendrick doesn't need him, and Kendrick sure as hell isn't about to lower his standards to accommodate someone who's lost in the sauce. The game has moved on, and Thug is just now realizing he's not at the center of it anymore. And that, right there, is the harshest reality of all. Now this is where the whole situation turns downright ridiculous. Young Thug, sitting on them jail calls, actually had the nerve to claim that if Kendrick Lamar would collaborate with him and the YSL crew, it would somehow make Kendrick more appealing to the so-called real streets. According to Thug's logic, Kendrick needs him to validate his street cred, like Kendrick's entire career hasn't already been defined by raw authenticity, lyrical brilliance, and cultural impact.
They're doing what now, brother?
I said them was them there more brothers than Bird and Wayne.
Oh, Roscoe and Lil Wayne were more
This
than...
nigga used to brain Wayne his drugs. Like, trust them. I don't know what the fuck happened with them fools. Cause the night with the shit when Lil Wayne too, was they got shot up on Expressway and shit?
Yeah, that's what happened in Cobb, yeah.
Yeah, that happened at the club in Cobb. I was in New Orleans.
The club was in Atlanta, but yeah, it
but it
happened
was
in
Cobb
Cobb,
County.
yeah.
Shooting or some shit. I don't know, honestly, I don't know who the fuck did it. They said Roscoe, but I don't want to like block out y'all case by saying Roscoe didn't do that. I don't fucking know. Just knowing Roscoe, that fool, I'm like, you shot at somebody, bro. But I don't fucking know, cause every day niggas broke fucking ball. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
It's wild when you think about it. Thug really sat there with probation hanging over his head, acting like he's the missing puzzle piece in Kendrick's career, as if without him, Kendrick's music can't touch the real world. Let's break that down because the desperation is dripping off every word. Thug tried to paint this picture that Kendrick is disconnected from the streets, that his audience is limited to hip-hop heads, critics, and mainstream listeners. But the reality is, Kendrick doesn't need validation from the so-called real players Thug is talking about. Kendrick has been headlining stadium tours across the globe. He's in conversations with legends like Jay-Z, Nas, and Kanye. He's performed at the Super Bowl halftime show, stood on Grammy stages, and sold out arenas full of fans screaming his lyrics word for word. That's not the rap world. That's the world. That's influence on a level most rappers can't even imagine. So when Thug tries to frame it like Kendrick is somehow missing something because he won't roll with YSL, it just comes off as laughable. Meanwhile, let's not forget where Thug is standing in this picture. This is a man who barely managed to scrape through his trial without getting locked up for decades. A man who cut a deal to keep himself from sinking further. And instead of laying low, instead of showing gratitude for the second chance at life he's been handed, what's he doing? He's on the phone chasing clout, trying to guilt trip Kendrick into giving him a feature. It's like watching someone who just dodged a bullet immediately step back into the line of fire. There's no reflection, no humility, just entitlement. And that's the part Thug doesn't get. Kendrick doesn't need him. Not for the streets, not for credibility, not for anything. Kendrick came from Compton, one of the rawest environments you can imagine, and he made it out by telling stories that transcended the block. He could have easily gone down the same path as countless others, bragging about what he did in the streets, using that narrative as his entire identity, but he didn't. He used his music to show people there's more to life than that. He chose to elevate the message instead of glorifying the struggle. That's what separates him. That's what's built his empire. He doesn't need to double back and validate himself through Thug's lens. But Thug doesn't see it that way. He's too caught up in his own insecurities, too desperate to prove that his voice still matters. That's why he's sitting on those jail calls rambling about Kendrick, keeping all the blessings to himself, as if Kendrick owes the rap world some charity verses. Kendrick has never been about that. His art has never been about handing out features like snacks at a party. He's always kept his circle tight, his collaborations intentional, and his music sacred. To suggest that he's selfish for protecting his craft is to completely miss the point. And then, as if his arguments weren't shaky enough, the rumors surrounding Thug's own credibility make it all worse. People are whispering louder than ever about Thug's alleged snitching, about how he supposedly threw Pee Wee Roscoe under the bus.
I don't be understanding that type of shit. Supposed to be a nigga who bless a nigga. That's why them niggas will never be bigger than Drake, ever in life. Niggas will never be bigger than Buddy. Buddy gonna do it right. Buddy fucking with everybody. You know what I mean? Like Drake changed. I mean, take care of their family because of Buddy. Just like straight which you never earned the #1 album. I spent 50 extra grand buying motherfucking streams, $50,000 buying streams for you to be weak. Like, and Cash know the same plug, so Cash could have did the same thing. You did all that shit for nothing, nigga. You ain't help nobody, nigga. Nigga ain't really gaining no fans off of you. Keem ain't big, Keem love hell, man. Can't sell no ticket. Watch out. Like, man, watch out.
About how he mentioned dealings tied to Lil Wayne. The streets are side-eyeing him heavy, questioning whether he's as solid as he claims. So how can someone with those kinds of allegations hanging over him have the audacity to talk about being the gateway to the real streets? It's hypocrisy at its finest. Let's be real. Kendrick isn't about to attach his legacy to someone who's drowning in controversy and whispers of betrayal. Why would he? Kendrick doesn't need a cosign from YSL to keep his status. He doesn't need to prove he's real to the East Coast or the South or any other region, because his work already speaks for itself. From Good Kid, M.A.A. City to Damn. To Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, his catalog is proof that he's untouchable. He's cemented. His music lives beyond the charts, beyond the moment, beyond the mess. Now, Thug made things even messier when he decided to drag Drake into this whole equation. He claimed that Kendrick would never be bigger than Drake because Drake hands out features left and right, blessing everyone in the game. According to Thug, Drake's willingness to jump on tracks and play nice with everybody is what makes him king. And again, the desperation in that argument is staggering, because here's the truth. Drake's features don't guarantee greatness for anybody. They don't even guarantee longevity. All they guarantee is a spike in attention. That's it. Look at the receipts. Thug himself had Drake in his corner. They dropped a whole collab album together, and what did it do? 89,000 in the first week. Respectable, sure, but not groundbreaking. Not when you've got one of the biggest artists in the world attached to your project. If Drake's features were truly the golden ticket Thug is making them out to be, that album should have dominated, but it didn't. And why? Because a Drake feature or even a Drake collaboration can't fix weak foundations. It can't turn noise into legacy. It can't replace substance. And the irony? Thug was even caught admitting he had to buy streams for Gunna just to boost his numbers. So what does that say about the value of all those cosigns and collaborations? If the music can't stand on its own, if you've got to spend 50 grand just to fake a chart position, then what are you really building? Certainly not the kind of empire Kendrick has, where every accolade is earned and every chart position is backed by genuine support. Then came the moment where Thug dragged Baby Keem into his tantrum, trying to discredit him by claiming he's not as big as Kendrick makes him out to be. According to Thug, Keem ain't moving tickets. Keem ain't building fans. Keem ain't worth the hype. And that was the breaking point for a lot of people, because the receipts don't lie. Baby Keem is thriving. He's Grammy winning, platinum certified, Billboard recognized. His debut album, The Melodic Blue, cracked the top 5 on the Billboard 200. His track Family Ties is not just big, it's one of the most streamed rap songs of the entire decade. Keem isn't just surviving, he's winning in a way that Thug, even with all his noise, can't touch right now. So when Thug tries to tear Keem down, it only exposes his own bitterness. It shows he's pressed about the fact that Kendrick has chosen to build with family, with someone who shares his vision, rather than throwing a lifeline to a man drowning in controversy. Keem's success proves that Kendrick's strategy works. He doesn't need to spread himself thin to validate others. He invests in what matters, and the results speak for themselves. By this point, the internet had had enough. people started lighting Thug up left and right. One user put it perfectly: everything Drake and Young Thug say about Kendrick is just projection. They're both mad because Kendrick is bigger than both of them, and they can't stand it. Another roasted Thug by asking a boy, what the hell was you going to rap about? Being in court? Others cut deeper, pointing out that you can buy streams, you can buy bots, but you can't buy a Kendrick feature. And that's the truth. No amount of money, no amount of begging, no amount of name dropping is going to make Kendrick compromise his vision. So here's the question that lingers. Why is Young Thug so obsessed with Kendrick's features in the first place? Is it really about respect, or is it just about clout? Because from the outside looking in, it feels like a man desperately clinging to relevance, lashing out at someone who represents everything he's not. Kendrick is focus, discipline, and legacy. Thug is chaos, controversy, and noise. And the more Thug complains, the wider that gap becomes. At the end of the day, Kendrick doesn't need Thug, doesn't need Drake, doesn't need anyone to validate his greatness. His catalog, his message, and his impact already speak volumes. Meanwhile, Thug is out here wasting his second chance, chasing drama instead of redemption, and begging for features that will never come. And honestly, that's the saddest part of the whole story. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share this video with your crew, and see you on the next one.